Hello, my beautiful people. You're welcome to Urban Vogue Radio. It's your boy Mila Mufasa, aka Melody Gemini. Today we're going to discuss on a very important and interesting topic with a couple of guests in the studio. I'll not let you know about the topic. Why don't you stay tuned? Yeah. Yeah, welcome back to our channel. Like I said, today we're going to discuss on a very important topic. But before we go into that, let us introduce our wonderful guests in this show. Let us introduce Barr.Victory Eremu. She's a lawyer. She's into corporate practice. She's a business coach. She organizes programs that helps entrepreneurs to grow their business, both through events and through social media. And we have Femi Nelson, a blogger, a programmer, is into tech. It's anything pertaining tech is into it. Yeah, welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So today we're going to discuss on a very important topic that surrounds tech, and that topic is utilizing tech for useful productivity. Yes, utilizing tech for useful productivity. According to Google definition or layman definition of technology is the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes, even when it comes to industry. So we know that right from creation, starting from the Stone Age to the digital era, man has always been man comprises of the men and the women. So let's not tie it to one gender. So man has always been looking for ways to create solutions, to find better ways of living. That need to make life living has reflected in the areas of medicine, education, law, in fact, different aspects of life and sectors of life. So I'll go straight to the number one question. Barr.Victory, what is your personal definition of technology?
Okay, I'll say that my personal definition for technology, the technology is a way you can achieve a goal or an action with the help of a device. Yeah.
Alright. So Fems, what is your own personality? I know your own will be very different. Very different.
Of course, you see, I'll say technology is an advanced way of doing something, just like you said. An advanced way of doing something and being able to achieve it in a seamless manner. That's to say, you don't have to rigorously go into doing stuff to achieving them. So it's an advanced way to fetching water. Let's say, for instance, you want to fetch water. You will familiar with the back in history and all that, in the time past where people fetch water with their strength and all that.
Yes.
With the advent of technology, you can now see that there are mechanisms or there are machines that can actually get that water to you without having to go through much stress. I think it's an advanced way of getting things done for benefits.
Okay. Now let's go to the next question. The next question is, what do you think about the evolution of technology in the world using Africa and Nigeria as a case study?
Okay.
Yes. You know when you go to other climes, you see how technology has taken different shapes, like the acceptance and the utilization of technology for societal growth, for the good of the environment and oneself. Now, when it comes to Africa and Nigeria as a case study, what do you think about the evolution of technology so far in the area of acceptance, utilization, and where we are?
Okay. The evolution of technology using Nigeria as a case study. It has been, the acceptance has been there. It's just not so rapid. But then you can see that over time we used to mechanically do stuff. And there has been several advancements in several spaces or several spheres. Taking an example of the creative industry, which is, say, the graphic industry. Yeah, I'll speak about the graphic industry. You know, in time past, we will look at the Egyptian. That's where I think creativity started from. When you have arts being drawn on stones and cave, you know, all that. And you can see that the advancement in technology has brought about having computers, having soft copies of these things, and being printed on probably clothes and stuff. And because of that, there has been a lot of probably jobs created, and it has affected positively the economy of a particular environment, or particularly in Nigeria, let's say that. Because you have people keen into that space and creating jobs for themselves, and there's been a lot of acceptance. But then you can still see that, I tell you for a fact, is the technology itself has not been so harnessed to benefit our purpose yet in Africa. We're getting to that level, but like I said, it has really facilitated living and made things easier, a lot more easier than it used to be in the Stone Ages. I think that's it for me.
Okay,
it makes sense.
Yeah, Barr.Victory, what do you think about that?
Okay, from the entrepreneurial part of it, I think personally, when I was younger, then just in secondary school, I had this passion of I love taking pictures. I loved it so much, and you know, those days only on Saturdays come out. I was in the dormitory, so we have to get a photographer, snap all those pictures, and then after 2 weeks, no picture. Sometimes you see this guy, you call him, Alpha, my stuff, when can I pick it? He'll tell you next week. And next week is next week, and the next thing will come back, you know, back home and all that. So you discover that my dreams then was not getting achieved because of the kind of system we had. So along the line, one of those days I went on holiday. I was able to save part of my pocket money to 2,000 naira. I came back home during the holidays. I told my mom I want to get my own camera. So I went there, we bought a camera within that range, and I went back to school with it. So that saved me. I started taking pictures of nature. I started taking pictures of myself, maybe when we are reading in class. It helped me get the memories I would love to keep and I cherish so much. Then another challenge I started having became the challenge of having to buy the films. Because if you could remember those days, you need film before you could take pictures. So sometimes you snap, and the next thing the film is done. And I'll have to start either looking for someone that could give money, maybe a teacher or something, or a photographer that will help you get, and of course they'll do it for a profit. And that became the next challenge I was facing. Then I could remember those days in school, during our matric days. I think the digital stuff has started coming, that you take picture and you can pick it up instantly. You know, that's the advent. The revolution have started, or the evolution have started coming up, that people became so as if you can't wait longer. You are anxious. You know, people don't want. And the moment they became the knowledge of having your 5 minutes picture came on board, people can't wait. If you are an entrepreneur and all you could give up there is maybe the normal snap me and then 3 days come for your pictures, nobody will come to you. They'll prefer to go to the other guy who can give them immediate, outcome results. That's what they wanted. So that was one of the things I could say. And currently now, people can now take pictures with their phone at the comfort of their phone. So it's no longer a thing you should go and pay for. And there's some phone cameras that are as good as normal cameras.
Yeah, exactly.
They are very costly phones that when you get them, your camera, this is how we've been, the evolution has been happening in the techie industry on the aspects of the entrepreneurship. And this is my own personal story, and I think is something I appreciate so much, because I know those days, even in our year one classes, if you still have a phone like a Nokia that can't snap, you are not among the big boys. You won't chill with the big boys, because anytime you see them around, they'll have their phones, always taking, we are done with our final year, we are done with these exams, and the joy and everything was just there. And people embraced it a lot. Even if you don't have money for food, you will save to buy one, buy a good phone, no matter the cost.
Because it's an item of necessity at that point.
Yeah. Just to add what she said, you can see back in time we have very vigorous way of transportation. You can take 5 days for you to transport the goods from probably state to the other. But with the advent of technology, you can see that we've transited from the ages of using camels and using legged Benz. Let me say. So we're now having like sport cars. You can have good cars and maybe probably luxurious cars that can even convey those what's it called now, those goods and services through a seamless and easy and fastest way to another point. And also, like in past time, you have to. I remember when I was watching one of these history channels. I remember that when a nation wants to fight or probably send a notice to another nation, they use bird. They tie some stuff on the bird's leg, and it goes across to the other nation to deliver the message. And they inscribe some stuff. But now, seamlessly, technology has been able to transit.
They can now light up your house at your border, and you know that your is coming.
There's an email now. There are several e-packs and all that. There has been so much transformation.
Actually, from my own side, I feel that the evolution of technology in Africa using Nigeria as a case study has gone up to, let us say, 55%, because I could remember the times late 90s where we were using landlines, where you keep on bang, and you're not seeing anything on the screen. You don't know whether you made error in the dialing and all that. So then towards the early 2000s, the coming of a new democratic dispensation, we started seeing the use of GSM mobile, and but it was not actually in circulation. People were paying to go and make phone call and all that. Even when you look at the banking sector, I remember how you can stay long hours trying to pay, withdraw, listening to it. But now you have the option of ATM points, you have the option of POS now, you can do
mobile phone transfer
and all that. So I think the evolution has been more of seeing how of like reducing the rigorous process of doing things in Africa, but I think we have not really reached that advanced kind of thing.
Like I would say, it's still yet untapped for me. I feel that it's way below average, and like we've not yet tapped to that level of experiencing the real thing technology has.
Now let us come to this everything in life has an advantage or disadvantage. There is nothing that just have strictly advantages and anything. So I want to know from you, what are the advantages and disadvantages of being exposed to technology? What are the advantages and disadvantages?
Okay. Fact is, just like you said, there are two sides to a coin.
Yes.
Advantages and disadvantages. The fact is, in as much as technology has aided a lot of things in our life just to make life seamless for us, there's still a bad side, because I tell you, people are now more technology driven, so that people are so lazy. I tell you, because health-wise, you see people, because they're very familiar with the usage of mobile phones or mobility when it comes to car and all that. You have less of exercises, and as such, it has developed so much health issues, like you have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, and all sort of illnesses like that. And also, it has even technology with its good part as I mean, it has delusioned a lot of our youth.
Okay.
Being that because you can access the internet at the snap of a finger. I mean, you just indoctrinate yourself with some kind of opinion that does not make sense, and it teaches you some kind of unruly attitude. Like, take for instance, you can access the porn. I mean, easily. Unlike in those days, it's not a good thing for you to even venture into that and all that. And also, it has preached a lot of bad ideas, like I said. People having to disrespect, because the fact that you're not seeing the other person at the other end, it has made a lot of communication seamless and easy. But there's so much unruliness happening.
Cyberbullying.
Yeah, cyberbullying. Yeah, you can imagine talking to a 50-year-old man, just like you said earlier, that just just because you don't see him, you talk to him, even if he messes up. I mean, there are better ways you can put your concerns out there and still, communicate well without insulting or downgrading the other person. I think that alone is a bad side to technology that's really giving so much room for unruliness. It has given so much room for some illness to come in because as a result of lack of exercise
no physical activity.
Yeah, no physical activities. And also it has made a lot of people redundant because I have Google there, I don't have to think. I mean, some basic 1+1, someone doesn't want to do it again, he has Google.
Yeah.
What is wrong? I mean,
sorry to interject, it's just like what I saw on there's an app I saw on Play Store. They call it Matway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether you've seen it. I know that was the new lazy man's app. Like you have a mathematical question, you snap the question, it gives you the answer. I think it has about 2.something million downloads worldwide.
Wow.
So it has the one that you can impute the mathematical question, no matter how advanced or beginner it will give you exactly, and it will give you the process of how it was being solved.
Wow.
So now I can only but imagine someone who is I have that software now, can send me. I want to
go extra mile to want to get answer.
Yes, you just fill up and all that. Yeah, I get that. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of exposure to technology from your own perspective?
Okay, for me, I think I see more of the advantages outweighing the disadvantages.
Okay.
Yes, because technology in an environment that, in Africa, using Nigeria as a case study, we have a progressive population.
Yeah.
We don't have any serious form of population control, and somehow it's affecting productivity, it's affecting job creation, it's affecting the market system, the economic world, it's affecting a whole lot of things. And technology has come for me to create more jobs, because now people don't really need to have your degree for you to say I'm techie savvy, or I can do this, or I can do that. Okay, if you can handle your phone cameras, you can go for events and snap, and people, or record stuff, and or showcase your God-given talent through the media. I saw a video sometime that trailed some time ago, a young girl that she hops on the road. So she sang. She has a very good voice.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden they said, okay, now what's her name? Rihanna is interested. This person is interested in her just because of the media. And on a platter, she'll get herself a very good profession for a lifetime, because you don't need to have certificates to be a good dancer, to be a good musician. Once you are giving them what they want, people will pay to come and watch you do those things, or pay to have access to your media world and all that, and that will give her money, that will give her the fame that people are killing themselves for. just within, I'm not sure she's up to 20.
Yeah. So
Okay, so you see that technology will create more jobs. That's the angle I'm coming from. Then for the disadvantages, I think the health part of it, it's kind of on the high side too, because we Nigerians, or rather Africans, we are not really conscious of our health.
yeah.
The health system is poor. It's very poor, and it shouldn't be. You see people sleeping with their phones under their pillows.
Yes, which is radioactive.
Very. And just because they're trying to, because of the insecurity and all that, they're being security conscious. You know what? Some people, when they're sleeping, someone can tap their phones
From the window.
From the window. So because of security issues, African man who wants to sleep with phone under their pillow, not knowing what this could cause, the ripple effect.
Yes, I do see some ladies in the market space putting it like at the chest region.
You see.
Yeah, and all that.
Okay, so these are some of the things that could happen. And at the long run, what I used to tell young people is that we don't really know what the effect of these things will be, because we are like the first generation to experience it in our own side of the world.
Yeah.
So the cancer rates might increase, death rates could increase. We will be the ones to tell the story, because it's as if we are the ones that, that will face these things firsthand, and then the next generation will have to learn from us.
Also, from my own side, I feel that when it comes to the advantages, like I was saying much earlier, the evolution of technology, especially to information. Before the advantages of what I'm trying to point out, the advantages are set us to be informed. We cannot compare now with what happened in the early 2000s. With now, you can use Twitter to say, "Oh, we are gathering at a social place to protest against a government policy or against certain things." Now you can use the tool of social media to tell people about scholarship opportunities and all that. You can now use social media to also sell out your brand and easily. Now you just imagine me that I hear now without this mic and without this camera. You go before those days, it's more like camcorder. I just think you can be able to create right now. You can create and do all that. But when it comes to disadvantages, sometimes it's kind of tricky. We cannot really say whether the advantages is more than the disadvantage, or the disadvantages are more than the advantages. But when it comes to disadvantages, you see more of the issues of cyberbullying, cybercrime, unethical hacking, spraying of falsified news,
without verification.
Yeah, without verification. Like almost everybody now with the power of social media is like a untrained journalist right now.
Yeah,
everybody. Yes. So social technology has also made expression of certain opinions, some absurd opinions to hold sway. Like you can see those days when people were using cassettes, like we're saying, if you're having pornography and they get you, the shame and all that. But now you can now see it. You go to different sites and you just type in on Google, and the secret system will just come out, and you just go into that and watch what you want to do. So now you see people being driven into going to pornography, being like, this is cool. That people make money through streaming and all that. That's one. Using Nigeria as a case study, do you think the nation has really embraced technology for its sustainability and growth? Barr.Victory. Yeah.
For that, I think we're yet to embrace technology.
Why do you say that? Why do you think so?
Because a lot of things are yet to be tapped in the world of technology in Nigeria. Come to think of it, like the transportation system now. Currently, I know there are some transport companies that just launched into Nigeria, but they were able to take care of the bigger cities like the Lagos and Abuja.
Yes.
So you discover that we have like 36 states for crying out loud. And in these states, they are not operational.
Yeah.
So this is a very, it's million minds yet to be tapped.
Okay.
It's also an opportunity for Nigeria-based entrepreneurs to replicate these advances that have been made already in these big cities.
Okay.
Airbnb is yet to be tapped very well in Nigeria. You understand? And a whole lot of them, in the aspect of food, we are still backward.
Okay.
We are like, if I stay 100 years backward, it's too short. Seriously, because every year we go into scarcity of the same food products that we have it, in surplus.
No mechanized farming.
Within, what I'm talking about, within 1 week. Like mango can come out and last for the next 3, 4, 5 months or 3 months, and then the next week there is no mango. But in civilized nations, in fact, you rarely know the seasons of some of these fruits.
But when it comes to
It's always there.
But when it comes to that, I think it's this issue of GMO, genetically modified organisms, because it has also raised lots of concerns around the world, like trying to force a particular plant or fruit to breed to grow when it's not in.
No, it's not just about forcing it to grow, but what I'm talking about is in preservation.
Okay.
Like there's, I was reading some time ago, I think that was last year, I saw a documentary about an Indian man who has ventured into that particular production, but for mango specifically. So what he does with the family is that they find a way of preserving mango juice. They gather it during the surplus time. People bring it as a plenty, and you pay per kg.
Okay.
So what he does that he will turn it to juice, can it, and they can preserve it for the next 6 months. The same thing can happen for our tomatoes.
Okay.
Instead of importation of some packaged tomatoes, we have the real thing. I'm not talking about the chemical mixtures that we are taking in the name of the tomato paste and puree. We have it during the surplus time. If you can go to the north, you will see things happening. As in, they waste literally every day, every week. Nothing can be done. Meanwhile, this same tomato scab, like the one I tried out last year, it stayed for 8 good months without preservation.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So you discover that we shouldn't be having the issue of food scarcity if we can help it during the surplus time. And I discovered it's also a biblical principle. That was what happened when Joseph went to the land of Egypt, and he was able to say, okay, now I have this dream. I can help you guys do this, do this, do this. Yes. There will be 7 years of famine, and we'll have 7 years of surplus. So why don't we spare things and stock things up? Then it will help us in the days of the famine, And this was the thing that brought him to the position of being a prime minister.
Yeah.
So it's something that we are yet to tap into. So if even every youth or a Nigerian can say, okay, now I will focus on this. Let me study this particular food produce. Why is it always scarce during this period? And that's one of the things that makes those into storage business to make so much money. Because they will store it up during the surplus time. Then when it's scarce, they'll begin to sell.
Okay, now it's time. Let's give us some perspective on that.
Okay. Like you rightly mentioned about sustainability and being able to, for storage purpose and all that. Yeah, you see, technology, like I said earlier, to me, it has been untapped.
Okay.
In this part of the world, Nigeria specifically, because you see that there are a lot of things we've not really explored, and it saddens me to say that that is affecting us really, really bad. Because in a situation where we can actually harness these things to our own advantage, but we're not making use of it. A clear example is where we have, like you mentioned, transportation. The government policies are not working to help implement some of these things. You see, taxation is on the high side, and in fact, the roads are bad. And in fact, when companies come together with a consensus to want to make a good road, you see that they're not even being helped. They're not encouraged. In fact, they see tax you. In other countries, in other modern countries, imagine that a big tech company coming to say, okay, say for instance Facebook saying, okay, we want to do this road and want to make it to a standard that people can access it, it's easy to apply, all that. You can see government coming to say, okay, since you want to help us do this, you will be free of taxation for like 5 months, 6 months. That's in a bid to help you grow. So you see, if we have a government that looks at technology to our own advantage, that is where there will be a lot of less taxation, more encouragement for these what's it called, SMEs, small medium enterprises. You know, build them and give them support, and you see things work out well. And it's again in the aspect of seeing these things through, making it work. You see, a lot of our youth do not have that patience. As much as the government are not helping issues, individually we lack patience to see that, okay, let's see this thing through in the next 5 years, 10 years. This is a project that won't work out now, but I know that in the nearby future, this should boom. And this is to the advantage of the community or to the populace. I think that technology is well untapped in this part of the world, and more so, government are not in support to even drive it to where we can achieve the best out of it. And we should work on our personal self, or personally, we should work on our patience level. Because imagine, look at, was it Einstein that made this ball? Or I don't know who was that invented ball. I think if you read the story, he tried 99 times, several times, he failed. But he never gave up. He was not deterred. So he saw that project through, and it came through. And you see, people believed, even though it was not so much people that believed in the dream, he felt in himself, he had the knowledge and believed in himself and saw the project through. Technology is yet on tap. We should have youths that will believe in themselves, that want to say, okay, I want to, like she said, I want to focus on this part. There are different aspects of technology that can bring businesses to the table, sprout economy growth, and create job creation in the environment, in the space, in the country itself, and thereby giving good livings. Even though we have bad aspect to it, like a disadvantage to it, we still have good aspect to it that can create job and all that, harness it for our own advantage. I think that's my own opinion.
I'm in line with what both of you have said. I think the issue of embracing technology for sustainability and growth of the country, the issue now is coming from both sides, both from the populace, which were pointed out about impatience and all that. But I think the primary cause is the inability of the government to really encourage the populace to exactly. Because if you come to the health sector today, why should Nigerians travel to India for kidney transplant?
Yeah.
Okay, now just see the issue of electricity, which is technology to be. There sometimes you go to a banking hall and the light goes off. Do you know what that thing means? That means there can be some reverse transaction going on, so that they can be an interruption in network.
Imagine the surgeon performing surgery and blind person.
Yeah, that makes no sense. So okay, imagine with the way insecurity is right now. We have been hearing the way bandits, insurgents always attack all these health aid organizations like Red Cross and Doctors Without Borders. What will it take for you to have medically driven drones that can supply medical supplies to locations that we have in other places of the world? Now, when it comes to education, imagine someone who is a computer scientist who is studying in faculty of computer science, and they are telling you that we have so something, and like this is algorithms, this is you just only hear the science, but you don't come in contact with it. Now, when you talk about aviation industry, If there's a plane crash, we invite professionals from outside the country, from Switzerland and different to come and do forensic reports on this thing. So these are so many things that I feel that the government is not doing, because before the populace we accept what technology is all about, we need to create
an awareness.
Yes,
that's been awareness.
During this COVID-19, so let us assume that COVID-19 was
technology.
No, let us just really assume that COVID-19 pandemic was really meant to kill Africans. Yeah, if you go to China today, they have now changed their medical system that when you step into the door, the SWAT scans you to check your temperature. Nobody needs to do you this normal temperature check. Then after that, you go to a screen, you call the doctor speaks with you through a video or something, he sees you and he say, he will not explain what you are feeling. Not that during that time there was no physical contact.
Yes.
But here, let us assume that the pandemic was meant to kill Africa. It would have killed a lot. Look at transportation. You see the rights of all these transport companies. I see it as remodified economic transport.
God bless you.
A remodified one, yes. Where you bring buses, siennas. No longer people. Yes.
Yeah. Not digital.
Not digital kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, look at our aviation. We can't take, but with 50,000 naira, we can't even travel. There is no supersonic train station. Like we are talking about doing it from, like, before we do race stations in Nigeria, it has to be political.
That's we awarded to one person
to the other.
Right, and
all that. Okay, look at the construction in this majority of our roads since the early 2000s. Our roads, our highways, roundabouts, bridges have not been built by indigenous companies. What we see is Berger, CCC, or some companies who have Nigerian fronts and all that. So this is, I feel that the government have not been able to drive this, because without them driving it, what is the role of Ministry of Science and Technology right now? What are they really doing? Are they encouraging invention? I see things online, people making cars, people making drones.
Encourage them.
Go to China today, it's high school students who couple phones, assemble phones. Yeah. So we just have agencies, parastatals, ministries, they just collect yearly funding, and nothing's going on. And at the end of the day, like what I said in one of our episodes with one of my co-hosts, was all about brain drain. We are losing it by the day. The US that we look up to are made up of different nationalities, different settings. Google is a mixture of Arabic and yes. So we are losing brains by the day. Look at the medical health sector over there. Nigerians are driving it. So I feel that the government don't want. I don't know whether they don't want to, but they are not really embracing technology for the growth.
It's just failed.
They have just failed.
Because sorry to interject, but because I look at it this way, I see that we have like about 3-4 stakeholders in this now. We have the youth, we have the government bodies, and we have probably some foreign agencies coming into play. You see, looking at I think was it last year or so, 2 years ago, some Microsoft came into Nigeria and sponsored some academy rather, and some persons did very well, and they took this brain out of the country. We keep losing brains by the day. Like you said, brain drain. It's really happening. If there is a viable environment where the government supports these youths and give them platforms and say, okay, you can do something, we support you. I mean, transformation will happen. A case study, sorry to contribute. Look at Flutterwave. Flutterwave achieved about $100 million some few years ago. Yeah. Somebody like Stripe came and there was, I think, Stripe or so, or that was Space App or so. They came in partnership with them. What I'm trying to point out is these are youths. These guys are just barely 33 or 35 there. Two guys who came together and said, okay, how can we seamlessly carry cash out of the borders of Nigeria, seamlessly buy products, and there's an exchange out there, out of the borders of Nigeria, so without any stress, at the comfort of your home. And they brought about these ideas. But what did the government do? They, in fact, increased the taxation. they now start clamping on fintechs, start clamping on them. I mean, that policy is enough discouragement for these youths to take up their business somewhere. And taking up the business out of Nigeria has caused unemployment.
Yes, sir.
Has caused unemployment, has caused some kind of redundancy. We're now lagging behind, moving cash, doing business online, which is not supposed to. I mean, if government look at that and support this agency, you see that growth will be invariably not denied. And also, you see, we have creative minds. Like I said, drones are being made, cars are being fixed. Look at this industry. There are people who are technocrats. Bring them into play. How can we? Their loans are accessible. I mean, power supply.
Are they really?
No, I mean, make loans accessible.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. Make loans accessible.
Yeah.
With little repayment. Make the power supply accessible. I mean, you see a lot of transformation, and hereby it's going to be adding back to the GDP of the country.
Now, coming down to this question, we all know that Nigeria is one of the most populated countries in black. Because I can still say it's still one of the most populated nations in the world. We have every day. You understand what I mean? So now we in that population we have both most of that population is the teeming youths. Now these teeming youths have experienced different political eras, socio-economic situations, like the rising unemployment index going on. So now, how can youth use technology to be productive to themselves and the society in the midst of all these such challenges?
The youth in Nigeria can actually do something for themselves. In fact, I'm of the opinion that in Nigeria, I could say we are even in a failed nation. Yeah, the nation has failed because the system isn't really working. The complaints and all that is too much. So this also a very good opportunity for me. I see a very big opportunity for the youth and anybody out there who wants to take advantage of this kind of situation, because like what I said earlier, the transport system, when you see things that are happening in civilized countries, we can replicate them. Even if you don't need to, start being innovative as in starting from the scratch to do something. You can do franchise, you can replicate the system that are already working. Now, for instance, you can look out for places where there are no, where Uber doesn't cover or boats can cover and all that. And someone, 3-4 youths can pull their resources together, pull their strategies together, in fact, I usually support the spirit of collaboration. This is where it's needed. In places like Enugu, you can collaborate and execute, just like what's happening in the estate system. The government has failed us when it comes to housing. Civil servants are not supposed to retire and you don't have a home. You have to move down to the village. After you've served your nation with your full blood and So now individuals are pulling resources together to say, okay, fine, we can build this estate and you pay little by little, and then after how many years it can become it can become yours. So these are opportunities out there for young people to do. You don't need to be certified. All you need is one legal assistant, pull people who have the same mindset of growth and development, and just give it time. In matter of 2 years, things can begin to happen. And I will not really say that, the system is too bad, because a lot of people will complain that, okay, fine, sometimes when it's like you are making a headway, one government policy will come out to destroy what you've labored.
Yeah, the example is the crypto and the Twitter.
We just come up from nowhere to cripple the system, what you've labored for. So that's why, if we don't look into our laws, a lot of things should be changed.
Okay.
So if the laws can be, changed, or when we are doing things, have government personnel to represent us or to carry our agenda or to do something, that's why I usually tell people, register your company, follow the procedure. Don't just do things like a nobody because you think this is a no man's land. Someone somewhere can wake up any day and use the legal system or policies to, spoil whatever you've done over the years. So always try to put yourself on the side of the government so that you can align with the laws, so that when things start coming up, you can have a place to stand and still go ahead to achieve your desired aim.
Yeah, coming to seeing how youths can take opportunity in building themselves using technology. It's a very, I think it's a very easy thing with the kind of things we have now, with the kind of concept and creativity we have out there now. Like she rightly said, you don't need a certification to get yourself involved in this. You can use it to your advantage. Like I see, I was watching a skit maker the other day. I think what's his name, Chief Maker somebody here. He graduated as a lawyer or something, or doctor, but he's into skit making because he has seen that probably this is his own drive, this is his own passion. He fits his own passion better than his what's it called now? What he studied.
Yeah.
Now this is making ends meet for him, and is making lots of cash for him. I mean, he has gone beyond borders. Probably that career of his that he studied wouldn't have taken him to so far. But then he has used the ICT to benefit himself. He's into creativity. I tell you, everything you do in life has to be about creativity. You have to think, you have to be creative, you have to be innovative. It mustn't really be different from what has been there, but spice it up in your own way. Make it original with your own self. Like a clear example of this brother Shaggy. Yeah, he just came up with some kind of stand-up comedy, and he blew up the space. And people were like, "Wow, this is amazing!" Yeah. People of his like minds came up with different kind of creativity, and they are making good money for themselves, or they're making good fame for themselves using the platform to benefit themselves. More so, there are people who are not into the creative space, who are just, in fact, I tell you, they are even into the creative space because so long you are able to do something and spice it up, you're painting.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because look at Adam Victor. He's a I think a director. He shoots some of these kids. I mean, and do you know how much that guy charges? He's a young artist. I think that guy is about 30 or something, 28 to 30 thereabout. That guy is making $500,000 for every shoot. That's a whole lot of money. Yeah, because back in time we only had people who were in that space of shooting movies. I can remember with me the Clarence Peters, the DJ T, and the like.
Zebediro.
And you know, they were not really doing it as big as it is now. The space is so wide. The creative things. I mean, just choose a niche and keep building yourself. And you know, there are several resources out there. You go to the YouTube, whatever you're looking for, how to cook rice is there, how to sew a clothes is there, how to do this is there. I mean, just take advantage of it. Yeah. I mean, if you like, let me tell you something about myself. I went to school. I was telling people that I read animal science, and it sounds funny, like I'm not practicing it yet. But I'm in the space now. I'm in the space of the technology where I've chosen my niche. I just look at myself. I said, "Wow, this has been what I want to do over time. So how can I do this?" I looked at. There's a whole lot of money to pay someone to teach me this, but I took advantage of sacrificing the little I had, buy data, sit down. I wasn't having a good phone. I downloaded these videos. I mean, that's a sacrifice you have to pay. If you're ready to pay the sacrifice, you go far beyond what you can imagine. I learned. There was a time, imagine, I downloaded a 3 hours video. Literally, the guy was just speaking Hindu.
Yeah.
And I was just I don't know. I was just watching the video. I don't understand the language. But you know why? It was interesting because I looked at what I was trying to achieve. I'll rewind, forward, rewind, pause, and check the dashboard. Does it look like my own? Then I mean, it's a whole lot of stress and work, but I had to put in because I want to learn. But here I am today. Do you know that video benefited me than even the English language video that I watched?
Exactly. Yes, actually, the Indians are more detailed in their tutorial training.
Yes. It benefited me so very much because I came to understand that when I tried it, it failed. I go back, I rewind it, and I say, okay, maybe he did it like this. I keep trying. And now that's an experience. That's an experience. Added knowledge to myself. You know, I'm in the creative space. I do graphics myself. I do do designs and all that without being to any institution, university to say I want to do a website 101 today. I mean, in the comfort of your home. All that it takes is discipline. That's zeal, that zest, that push, that passion for you to learn.
I also want to add that in addition to what we're talking about, the youth, the nursing, technology, you know, there are a lot of people that I discovered that what they want is entertainment. So it's more like pleasure for the work, the level, which is very much inappropriate. Okay, and when we're talking about the youth, this is your morning, and in the morning we don't relax to watch movies or to play around, you know, to relax. In the morning, you wake up, you pray, you're already looking at your itinerary to rush out for the day, you know. The relaxation comes in the evening, in the cool of the day. That was when God, after creation, on the seventh day, he rested. It was like in the cool of the evening, after you've labored. But today, we have youth who are much more interested about entertainment, about, you know, you see someone looking for data, and the moment they get a free data, what are they watching? They just want to watch one comedy show or one thing or one that, and not to learn. And meanwhile, you don't have your next school fees. You are not even in school, or maybe you are on strike. You know, during the strike period, those days we were in school. It was an opportunity for me to get an added skill. I could remember spending hours on a video just to learn crocheting. And those days, I became a professional that anybody that comes around me was asking, how did you learn this thing? They were wondering. Some people were even paying to learn. My own age mates, you know. So it's something that people, they don't really know what they have. They have a phone, and they think it's just to make us have a boyfriend, give him your number, and then a video, show your boobs, and today people are encouraging more of, you know, the irrelevant things. Someone will see a video where they are talking about techie things like this one now. I know it will take you guys time to even watch to the end, but check the comedy things for normal movies. They will spend hours watching it, spend data watching it, investing what you have into nothing, something that will yield nothing to you. And I think it's a waste. And one of the things we can do is that we have to, it takes discipline. It takes discipline on the side of parents, on the side of the children, on the side of teachers. Personally, now I don't subscribe in my house except on Christmas days. That's what I do. When they're on Christmas holiday, that's when we subscribe. You must come back. In fact, know that throughout the year is work, rest, wake up is work. This is the time you have the energy. So use it. And you know what? Those days in school, I would spend hours reading in the night. Now, as a parent, I discovered I find it so difficult. I will have a material, I will schedule that, okay, fine. I will spend time to take care of this case and study it. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to class, and it won't happen. I made that mistake like 2 times, and I'm in court, and I'm just waiting for adjournment. Why? Because I was not ready to talk about. In fact, I didn't even know what the case was really about.
And you feel lost in the court.
You will be lost.
And the judge will be like,
and when I got this thing, I was like, okay, their parents is tomorrow. I gave them the cost and they paid, and okay, fine, let me see what happens. I told myself, this night, I thought it was like before, that once I said this night, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm up there reading. 5, I could just pray and get dressed to jump out. 6, 7, you're out of the house. But now it's not possible. Why? Something has happened. You are no longer the same person. So there's this energy the youth have. It takes difficult for you to plan to achieve something that you cannot achieve when you are a young man, when you are a young woman. Is it book writing? Today I know so many young people who are in school, but they are authors. They've written books telling you stories about their life, about how they didn't like how this happened, how their parents brought them up, and how it has affected them. And those books are selling online, and people are buying it. And currently now, you can publish books on Amazon free.
yes.
Free of charge. Only if you can put those things down. People have systems, laptop. I regretted a lot of things because those things, I remember I had a system my dad bought for me those days in school. If I'm not using it to type or make researches or write my 10 papers and all that, then we'll now be watching movies. Why didn't I write to publish? By now I should have been someone that published maybe more than 10 books, and you are barely 30. It's a very big achievement. So we can write, and no matter what you are into, if you are a photographer, if you are a shoemaker, if you are a cloth maker and all that, you can write your story on a book and people will buy. Put it out there, have something to sell. That's one thing I keep telling the youth. Now technology has made it easy. You know, before now they tell lawyers you shouldn't sell. Some professionals, I think even the doctors,
yes,
you can't sell, you can't do this, you can't do that. But now with the advent of technology, no one will say I'm selling. Because when I put my book out there, I will just give you a half story that you want to ask me, please, what does it take to have this book?
It's even hard for these days for you to still lodge chambers, having websites where you can be able to lodge in complaints and you want them to send you a lawyer to handle your case. If you go to the US today, we have chambers or law clinics that have websites that you just log in and listen. If you want a public defender, they send you a public defender. If you want a lawyer, they send you a lawyer. So, but I think the youth need to really understand that anything that has to do with pleasure is supposed to be later. We have lots of this on our table because life alone it's like classes. You have to jump from one place to the other. And remember, in the evolution of life, it comes with responsibilities. We all have families, and at the end of the day, we have to keep on driving something that at the end of the day, I'm growing, my spouse is growing, my children are growing, and the society is growing. So we should be able to define how this, because it's quite unfortunate to see a lot of our youth spend frivolous time on social media making it. We have a lot of online platforms. We have Coursera, and then we have so many that you can go. Yes, you can pay. Yeah, you can pay this course and you do your thing. If you feel that one is expensive for you, you go to YouTube. Like when I started my media business, I didn't do apprenticeship with anybody. It was YouTube that gave me the schooling. They guided me through on how to buy my equipment. They guided me and everything. I didn't do anything. I never tested me. I never had camera any day. God gave me witness. I never did so. Like now, I'm an author of 15 books. I'm not a graduate.
Wow!
15.
Like, wow!
Yes, no, not clap for me. Clap for me. So, yes, I'm an author of 15 books. I write the collection of poetry, I write play, and I write novel. And people read my work, they be like, oh, this is good. So that's why I say I believe in this thing called self-intellectualism. Your ability to know when, why, and how to do things. But this is what will keep you. Because if you don't have those 4 things, those 4 key things, you can't even know how to come in contact with technology and use it better. Because some people, most Nigerians are using it. Okay, that takes us, because the producer now is now sorry, producer. So let's go to the next question. Do you feel social media as a communication tool gives youth exposure to technological trends? Do you feel in brief?
Yeah, of course. The social media has given so much exposure to our youth.
When it comes to technological trends.
The technological trends.
So let me rephrase the question again. Do you feel the use of social media as a communication tool gives youth exposure to technological trends?
Yes, it does. Yeah, because I tell you for a fact there are different different technological advancement that are coming up that you barely you're not informed about, except that the fact that you're on social media, you just come across some certain things and oh, I can really do this with this. Like an example is I used to use I'm very good at Photoshop and Illustrator. You know, each year they release like newer versions and with some certain things or updates, and I feel like, oh, okay, this new version can actually handle this and can do this. I mean, that's interesting. Okay, I'll look forward to getting that stuff. And also you have newer things, newer dimensions, but those things like they can advance life better with. Those things are being, they can't, apart from jingles on the radio, I think the next point you can make them public is the social media. So it's now left with you, the users of the social media, to see it in that form that like, okay, this is to my benefit and use it to your advantage. But if not, you can use it to your disadvantage, or you are looking at that disadvantage to, like you said, so much plays and or what's it called now, like too much fun on social media. But that's not to your advantage, of course. You may think it's advantage to you, but it doesn't. It's not adding value to you.
It's just like more of like taking alcohol and after getting high for some minutes, you come back to reality.
Yeah, you see, for the fun of it, but it doesn't add value to you as a person. So I feel that it has really given exposure to technology for the youth. If you see it that way, it has to be on a personal level now. Yeah, because people don't see, some persons won't see that. So but that's
a way to give us your perspective.
Yeah, for me, the social media plays a very key role in giving the youth, exposure to technological trends, in the sense that, personally, let me say from my own point of view, I've come to learn a lot of things from social media, from the kind of people I follow, from the kind of people I send requests to be my friend on Facebook, and choose those people who are techie savvy like you. Yeah, those people that you could see their works. When they come online, they post those things, see what I've done, see this, like TikTok, you see some videos that people are, so this is possible for me to do this in the comfort of my home. So whatever message you now have, you'll now be able to pass it through using the same medium. I've seen doctors teaching on diet life or how to do this and how to manage BP, how to manage heart attack and all that, and they are using TikTok videos.
Exactly.
So when you're watching it, it's like you are clued. It's not like you are reading a book now.
TikTok is no longer becoming the fun this in these days. No. I even saw a mathematician who was teaching. Somebody used Pornhub to teach mathematics. Did you see that news? When a guy used an account in Pornhub to be teaching advanced mathematics. Instead of people looking to go and watch pornography, you were watching math at that moment.
So all these things, is a very strong tool. But what happens is how we use it, what you choose to use it for.
Right.
Because,
Okay, let's go to the next one. What are the areas in technology that the Nigerian youths can explore that can be a 6-digit venture? Just specify the rare areas in technology that Nigerians can explore that can be a 6-digit. Just mention them.
Okay, I think using the KDP, Amazon KDP account can give you 6 figures.
Okay.
But I have a little warning on that.
Okay.
Yeah, when we say 6-figure venture, don't think if you just learn about it today, and then tomorrow morning you see 1 million naira. That's the deceit.
That
a lot of people.
notice.
Yeah, so I have to put you on notice.
Yeah.
Actually, what will happen is that you have to spend time and learn how to publish. If you publish rubbish and put it out there, I'll surprise you, nobody will buy it in the next 3 years. You still be where you are. So, but if you spend time, buy books, buy the ones people have read, and that are talking about the things you have interest. Learn. Then by the time you launch out to run, you'll be surprised the kind of things that will happen. people will also rush for that, because your own package will be like you are trying to summarize 5-10 words you've read into one book. So it's giving you, so it's a very good opportunity being an author. And one thing I like being an author is that if you are a writer, whether you're a photographer, whether you're into the agripreneur world, whether it's into transportation, you can write. And today we have ghostwriters, people that you can tell your story and they will write it your own way for you and publish it in your own name. So now, after the after the book has been published, now what do? When they market and sell or you upload on Amazon, you are the one benefiting from those books as the author. No one knows that you didn't really write this. Maybe you don't have the time. Okay, so you get to ghostwriters, people that are writing. So writing in itself is also a 6-figure thing. And why I like it, I usually recommend it for stay-at-home moms. It's not a situation where you are there, and you're looking for money from your husband. You are very much dependent on him and disturbing him and all that. No, if you're a good writer, you can make cool money.
Yeah, with the rise of artificial intelligence in the world, which is leading to lots of job losses as projected, what sectors or professions do you think that artificial intelligence will not affect, starting with firms?
Fact is, there are a lot of them. I'll just mention a few. In the creative world, like I was explaining earlier, we have the graphic designer, we have the web designer. Of course, you can't achieve graphic design with an artificial intelligence and all that.
Okay.
You can achieve that with same as web design, e-commerce, and we have the cryptocurrency aspect of it. So I think with a lot more creativity and discipline and patience, wanting to learn all this space, all these spheres, I mean, you can use it to your greater good and make ends meet from it, and I think you're good to go.
All right.
Okay, I also think in the legal profession, they can't really penetrate it. Yeah.
Okay.
With AI and anything that has to do with innovation and reasoning, human reasoning, arguments can also be penetrated. Yes, like in political society, like in politics, in governance, artificial intelligence cannot substitute for all that.
Okay. So, what are the technological skills that youth can acquire without institutional qualifications?
Technological skills, I'll say, for a graphic designer, you don't need a certification like we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
All that requires you over there is just being creative and being innovative. Think about stuff, how you can achieve them, and just bring it to life.
Okay.
And in cryptocurrency, all that it requires you upon is just like the regular economics you've studied in school, buying and selling, having to see demand and supply, then study the chain of transaction.
Okay.
How to achieve certain goals, and that's all.
All right.
You can go into coding, product designing, web designing, programming, and all that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's go to the next one. And the final one? Then, what are the requirements that the youth should possess before going into tech business?
Wow, that's interesting. I really do not think you need so much into going to tech business. All that you need, like I used to hammer on it, is your creativity has to be top notch. You have to be someone who thinks. You have to be someone who, at the solace of your time, you just, going to thinking, having to want to do stuff differently. That's technical thinking, critical thinking, creative thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all is required of you. And more so, you need principle, you need patience, you need discipline, and you need focus.
All right.
Yeah, I was about saying that you need to be focused actually, and disciplined is so much required, because in developing things you don't need to go into everything. You can't be saying I'm into everything, anything electricals. You know, you should be able to carve. Yes, you should also be specific by carving a niche, maybe electrical household appliances, you know, or cars and stuffs like that. There should be an aspect of what technology you have interest in. And another thing is passion. You should be very passionate about what you want.
Exactly.
It's not just, if you're not passionate about any field you're going into currently, if you go online, you know, you can't watch a video on YouTube without seeing adverts.
Yeah, exactly.
All of a sudden, you see yourself watching another thing. In the next 2-3 hours, you've not achieved anything because you're busy checking out the adverts, listening to one advert or the other. So a lot of distractions are in the technological world. So if you are not focused enough to know the niche you are going into, today you might be telling us you're an electrical engineer because you can do this and do that. And tomorrow, you now see, oh, car people better. Oh, web design. I think they make more 6 figures weekly and daily. You now say, oh, I'm going into. So at the end of the day, in a month, you have not focused into achieving one singular aim, and it will be fruitless effort.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a very enlightening conversation with Barr.Victory Eremu and Fems Nelson. You know, yes. So it has been an enlightening conversation. We want you guys to keep on viewing our content, to follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on the screen, to subscribe to our channel, and also be part of the conversation by commenting in the section area of the YouTube, and even on our when we make postings on our Instagram and Facebook account. We are open for sponsorship from brands. We are open to a partnership. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a very wonderful and interesting discussion. Thanks, Barr.Victory. Thanks, and Nestle for coming. We hope to have you again to discuss more things that have to do with entrepreneurship and tech. So
thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is Urban Vogue Radio. It's your boy Mila Mufasa, aka Melody Gemini, and you are on Urban Vogue Radio. See you at the next episode. Bye.